Hey guys, welcome to the Scoop. Where we're gonna have real locker room talk with real athletes. Okay, I'm Perfect Purvis, and joining me is Jamal Clay of Athletes Forum, and today's guest is gonna be athlete Luke Zaraka. Before we even get started, man, let's check out the resume for Luke. Okay, what I want to do is I'm gonna share this here for you. Can you guys see this?
It's loading right now.
Yeah.
All right,
Sheesh, look
all
at
right.
LZ
So let's
seven.
talk about let's talk about Luke Z from Bentley University. He's played in five different countries, I think, if I'm saying this correctly. He's played in Germany, France, Czech Republic, Italy twice. Has
Yep.
over 10,000 yards passing, over 200 touchdown passes in the career, four national championships, two different countries, two-time MVP of the championship game, European tournament MVP playing for the national team in Italy, 2014 French elite passing leader, 2016 European championship qualifier, 2016 Czech Republic champion, 2017, 2018,
Sheesh.
2019 three-time Italian Super Bowl champion. That's our host today, Luke Zaratka. Am I saying the last name right? I might have got a little
Zaraka, yeah, but
excited.
you're putting the Italian accent flow to it, which is nice, even though it's not the Italian last name, but it's all good.
Hey
I
man,
love it. I love it. Yeah.
I'm just trying to make sure we get it out there, man. People
Yeah.
that don't know who you are, that was just a little bit. Believe me, I could talk for days about this guy. Seen him play for the last what is it, 7, 8 years now? How many years you had, Luke? Tell me.
I've been out here since 2013 when I first came to Germany, and I've been here ever since. So
So
let's do the math, like 8 years, eight, nine
yeah,
years, 9 seasons.
8, 9 years. He's been out here, man.
The
You
bet in the
you've been
game.
you've been out here since I left. Just throw that a little out there.
Yeah.
Just throw y'all a little bit, tell you guys a little bit about me. Last time I played, 2013 is when I actually played in Finland, and I was like, I'll never play again. Ooh, shit changes, man. Sorry for the language, but man, let's get into it, guys. Let's talk about it. One topic that we want to talk about today, a huge international issue. COVID-19. We're talking about it today. It's been going on for a while. But Luke, you live in Italy. You lived in Italy when it first like broke out like
Yep.
internationally, and in Europe, Italy, it hit really hard. Tell us a little bit about like what it was like living in that situation. When the pandemic hits and you're in one of those countries where it was dramatic how quickly it spread.
Yeah. To be honest, like we're preparing for the season as normal. On a Saturday day, there was like I guess news hit that there was like maybe like 15 cases like of COVID in Italy, and there was like people started freaking out a little bit. I actually went down to Venice to go to Carnivale, which is like an event every year with my girlfriend. We get there, then like the cases went from like 15 to like 100 like the next day, and then on our way back from Carnivale, like everyone had like their shirts over their face, like because this whole virus started breaking out. And to be honest, when we got back into Milan, we still continued to practice because there was no real updates because it was all new and no one really knew what was going on. So we were preparing for our game, and like the Thursday before our first game, they're like, "Yeah, COVID spreading too much, and we're gonna have to cancel the first game. We're gonna postpone it." So that happened for like the first two games, and then all of a sudden, like things just like went from like 0 to 100 real quick, and
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like the season got canceled, and like then like I think it was like March 7th, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I remember being out like with my teammates, whatever, like hanging out like one night, and like the next day, like all of it is in like a national lockdown, and like couldn't even leave your house, like only to go to the grocery store or to like the pharmacy or stuff like that. Like it really like was an eye opener to see like what really happened, like how fast it like things turned around, and like being able to like go out, do whatever you want to do. Then now all of a sudden like you're stuck in your house, can't even like leave to do anything. And when you did go to the grocery store, like you would just see like the streets were like vacant. There was like no one in Milan. Usually like the city
Yeah.
where like there's so much life, like life, people walking around. Like there was absolutely no one in the streets. It was crazy, to be honest, to be to live through it. And then yeah, I've been here basically living through all the different waves of the pandemic, and fortunately now like things are starting to turn and for the good. due to the vaccine and stuff like that. But it was definitely a wild experience for sure.
Yeah, what was that first thought, or like when did it first exactly hit you? So for example, like over here, like in America, I remember just being at work and they're like, you know, tomorrow, we're all meeting at one spot. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I go to the grocery store and there's no toilet paper, there's no paper towels, like the shelves are like bare. I'm like, oh, like something really happened. Yeah, like what the hell's really going on?
Like
so like for you, when did you get that moment? It's like, oh shit, this is real.
No, like I said, like one night, we were out like with our friends, like at the Arc in Milan, just having a couple drinks. There was maybe like around 100 cases in Italy, but like it didn't like really hit you yet. And then like boom, like the government was like, all right, national lockdown in Italy, like can't leave your house, like it's wraps.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying like your freedoms are taken away, but like national lockdown until like further notice. And then like going to the grocery store. I remember going with my girlfriend. We went to the grocery store like an hour or two before it opened, just to get there to wait online outside. And then like it took like 3 hours to get into the grocery store. And then obviously when you get in there, like Italians like their pasta, so like there was no pastas on the shelves and stuff like that. So like toilet paper, hand sanitizer was gone. Like it was real. Like it was really an eye-opening experience for me. And like buying the groceries, coming back home, like we would like wipe them down before we put them in the house, because like we had like that scare where there was no information about like the virus, or like how contagious it was and how it spread. So like we were just trying to be like really as safe as possible. And like it was definitely an eye-opening experience. But I would say this all happened around like the first weekend in March, like literally like the week of our first game. We were supposed to play against Florence, and leading up to the game, like we weren't sure if we were going to play. Then also like Thursday, they was like, all right, postponing these first 2 weeks. And then like in a 2 week span, like the cases just jumped up, and then it was like, all right, Italy, no more season this year. So
my question with you guys is, I'm constantly comparing it to Finland, where I'm at, where social distancing, that's a part of life. Like that's just how we live. Italians are very, they talk, they touch you, you're very close when they're talking to you.
Very
they're
animated.
right here.
Yes.
So there's a lot of this like natural human interaction that you guys are having all the time, and then to take that away, did you feel like the culture embraced that and was like, oh, okay, we got a social distance, let's do this? Or was it something where people were like, yeah, but I'm gonna do my thing,
Right. To be honest, like at first it was like I think it was like a saying like Milano doesn't stop. It was like Milano non ferma mai or something like that. Like for like the first week that it happened, because like they were like, all right, we still gotta live our lives, whatever. But then like once like the cases like really hit, people like I guess went from like joking about the virus thing, let's say, until like, okay, like now we need to like I stay at home was like the hashtag, like io resto a casa. And it went from like literally being able to like live your life normally to like boom, like in your house. So like there was no real like transition from like, okay, let's not do like the hug or like the whatever, like like you said, Italians, like the touch and whatever like that. Like it went from like seeing your friends to like next day like in your house, like you can't even go out. There was no like real transition. It just went from like normal life to like the lockdown life. And now like even now, so like you might give like the elbow or stuff like that. Like you're not gonna go hugging people because like just for like the safety of others and like the whole social distancing as you're talking about. Like and then even like during like grocery shopping, like during the whole thing, like there was people like walking around like making sure that people were actually socially distancing, like hey, you're not 2 meters 6 feet from like the next guest, like try and keep your distance and so on and so forth. So I think that now like the culture has embraced the whole social distancing thing. And obviously there's times where like someone might give you a hug, and like I mean it is what it is. You're both messed up, obviously you still got to try and keep your distance, but sometimes you haven't seen someone for so long, it's kind of hard not to like I guess give them that hug.
Trust some emotions.
Exactly. So it's like, hey, like I haven't seen you in like 6 months, but I'll give you an elbow just because the whole thing is kind of like it's a little weird. But Yeah.
But with football, now it's back. A lot of different countries are opening up. Vaccines are out now. We're dating this a little bit, but with vaccines and stuff being out, do you feel like people are kind of trying to get back to that original? Like I feel like I'm just talking my personal experience. Like before, when there wasn't a lot of information out there, a lot of people were, hey, just stay at home, stay separate, do your thing, so we can get through it. And now people are kind of getting to the point where, okay, might have to become a part of life. So now we have to figure out how we can still be ourselves. A lot of people still want to go out to bars, still want to hang out with their friends. My daughter has had 2 years of no birthday parties because of this. Like in Italy, are you having that same situation where people are a little more reserved towards, outings now? Or is it more of we're trying to figure out ways to still be social?
Uh, I would definitely say that there's still people trying to be social. Like now, we're in a red zone, so that means that you know I can't leave my region. People can't leave their regions. However, like bars aren't supposed to be open, so like people aren't supposed to be out, but you're allowed to be out to exercise. So like you'll find people out just because they have the right to be out, but like they're not really, let's say, following the rules where like you're out to exercise. Okay, that's one thing, but if you're out, sitting down with a beer with a couple of friends, like you're not really following like what the rules are supposed to be. And to be honest, like the whole vaccine situation here in Italy is not the best. Like distribution, I know they just recently bought, I want to say like 1.5 million like vaccines of, I forget if it's Moderna or Pfizer, but like I guess they're trying to like up the distribution of like the vaccine now. So hopefully like going forward, like especially for like the summertime, like because even last year like March, April, May, like things were like shut down. Then like they slowly started to open up. Then like in the summertime, there felt like there was no cases, like maybe like 100, 200 cases like in all of Italy, and then they had the second wave like back in September when like our junior team was supposed to play their season, so they shut that down. And like the second wave was worse than the first wave because there's more cases daily. And now I feel like it's back on the downtrend, and hopefully with the vaccine, like the lifestyle can come back to some like the new normal, I guess you can call it, like where you're respecting your distance, but like, you're still able to socialize and like be out and about with your friends and stuff. So,
do you feel like information, and obviously the vaccine has been delayed, but do you feel like just everything in general that Italy has done when it comes to the vaccine as a country has been progressively getting better in terms of making you guys aware and getting the vaccines and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think that like I said, originally, I guess the distribution wasn't as good as like in America or in other places where like they're like getting it out there as fast, like not as fast as possible, but like people have the right to go get it if they wanted to go get it, like certain age groups, and they started to implement that. I feel like a little later here in Italy, but now I feel like that going forward, they're going to try and get it out more and try to, I guess, get on top of like the situation, not let the situation get the best of us. So,
and do you feel like at least going into like now that you guys are like having the season somewhat, do you feel like from a football perspective, you guys, at least the organization, is adjusting well to in terms of like the rules of working around COVID and stuff like that now?
Yes, without a doubt. Like every single practice, we got to get our temperatures taken before we like enter even the field, and like we're not supposed to go say hi to anyone else or like go give them like touch them, whatever, unless we have our temperatures taken to make sure like that we're under the temperatures of like no fever, whatever like that. Then like even on the field, like for stretching, like we keep our distances. Like to be honest, personally, I wear a mask like on the field. Like if I'm just stretching, then like obviously during practice when I got to put my helmet on and stuff like that, like I have a visor, so I don't like to wear the mask because then I get all fogged up and then I can't see nothing. So it's kind of like counterproductive with that. So I just try and like keep my distance from people. Obviously, as a quarterback, you got to touch the ball every single play, but then like I'd literally try to not lick my fingers or anything like that until like after practice, I'll put some sanitizer on my hands, wash my hands, and like not touch.
It's hard to break those habits sometimes.
Like, yeah, it really is. It is, but like you just gotta be aware of it. And like I'll come home and like first thing I do is I'll wash my hands and like take a shower so that like I'm like clean just in case there was anything I got exposed to anything out there. Yeah, but for sure, like we're definitely taking care of like what we have to do just to ensure that our season will continue to go forward. And it would be a bummer if like we play like, first 2 games, 3 games, and all of a sudden like, okay, like there's an outbreak in like one of the teams, and then they cancel the whole season. It'll be a shame.
Just hearing you talk about like what you would have to do as a quarterback to stay safe, having to deal with that ball and so many different people touching it the whole time, like it makes me feel icky. I'm just gonna say it. I'm like, dude, I couldn't do that. Like you're doing a lot, like to make sure that like you take care of yourself, and that's just, I mean, that's tremendous on your part, but that's why I'm gonna stay on the sidelines and watch you from afar, Luke. Because
to be honest, like I wear a glove, like a glove on my left hand, and like my right hand's the only one that's like exposed, whatever. But yeah, like I said, I just try and keep it like, don't lick my fingers, all right? Don't lick my fingers, like even if, just try to do something to like, in case it's slippery. I usually that's just a natural instinct, just lick the fingers quick, get a bit of grip so you can throw the ball. But now with the situation now, it's like you gotta try to avoid that, and like even with the game, like the referees aren't going to touch the balls. Like the center's got to bring the ball out to like to where it's got to be placed. Like they're really trying to like make sure everyone's safety is like at an all-time high, which is good, but it's also a little strange and things you got to adapt to. And like I said, given the new football year, I'm not saying it's going to be like this forever, like in the years going forward, but like hopefully, with like it can go back to like a regular football game and fans can be there and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. For a game that's all contact, and you're asking us not to touch a ball, not to share, just stuff like that. It makes it a little weird, but it's crazy. It's crazy. We go through 30 years, 20 years, 25 years, whatever. Nothing like this has happened. Just drop of a dime. The world shuts down.
The good thing to know is that the NFL, they played all 256 games. So that means somehow it's possible that we can get to a normalcy with American football. Obviously, every country is different and you have to figure out the ways to make it happen. But we know it's possible. And that's a good thing is, like this isn't something that like stopped the world. I mean, it took a pause, it took a break. But, this is something that we can move on from. Have you checked out Kano's ready-to-wear collection? It's Kano's top-notch quality, but it's teamwear made custom for you and your team, so you can rep your squad now. That's it for us today on The Scoop, keeping the locker room real. Brought Luke Zaraka in today. Appreciate you coming in, man. Just want to tell you personally that we love watching you do what you do, man. Your career, I've been watching it pretty much since 2013, since you've been international, and I've enjoyed having these conversations with you, and just personally want to let you know that, we wish you the best on the season that you're having, but we also wish you best in your life pursuits. One thing that we're trying to do with The Scoop here is let people know that we're more than just athletes, and you're the embodiment of that. You just showed us in the conversations we had today, you've become that international, not international player, the international person. And that's great that you're doing that, man. Just glad to have you here talking to us today. Any last words you want to say, any shout outs or anything before we get out of here?
No, I just want to say, thanks for having me on. First episode, it's always an honor to be the first guest onto a different podcast, and I appreciate you and Jamal having me on here, and appreciate everything that you guys, all the compliments, and just for anyone who wants to play football in Europe, I mean, give it a go, and just enjoy every minute, because there's only so much time that you can play football, and I'll keep playing until that I feel like that I don't got something to give, and then I have to move on to the next chapter, So thanks so much, and I appreciate it.
Jamal, you got any last words, my man?
Nah, man, just wanted to say, appreciate you having me on. I know, we met a couple years ago, and just to see you still out there, still doing your thing, man. It's exciting, and it's exciting to be on the other side watching, and we appreciate you. I'm sure it's not gonna be the last time we talk. We chatted up.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure that soon enough I'll be back on the side of you guys too. So.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the show on YouTube or listening to it on the podcast outlet. You know, there's like 2,500 of those you can listen to it on. Be sure to subscribe to Athletes Forum YouTube channel or American Football in Finland's podcast channel to catch the scoop each week in both video and audio format. And you can also follow us on Twitter at The Scoop AF or on Instagram at Athletes Forum or on Facebook at Athletes Forum. Also, don't forget to read the description below where you'll have a chance to win K-Noah Teamwear swag provided by, K-Noah, the best of the best out here. Be sure to follow the instructions on the bottom of the screen or read the instructions for the podcast channels. All right. We'll see you next week.